So going back to the case against Jeffrey Epstein, today he pleaded not guilty to all charges, but this case goes back a lot of years. It includes a plea agreement from Alex Acosta when he was a federal prosecutor. Now he's President Trump's Secretary of Labor and has defended the previous deal. NBC legal analyst Danny Cevallos looks back at the years-long case against Epstein.
The facts of this case date way back to the mid-2000s, when local Palm Beach authorities were investigating Epstein on allegations of similar sexual activity. Epstein was being investigated by both state and federal authorities in Florida. Epstein agreed to plead guilty to solicitation of prostitution in state court in Florida and served just over a year, not in prison, but on work release, where he was allowed to leave the facilities 6 out of 7 days of the week. But the federal government stayed its hand, deciding to instead enter into a non-prosecution agreement, with the idea being that the state prosecution was adequate and no federal prosecution was necessary. Even though Epstein is a registered sex offender, many observers felt his legal team had achieved a huge victory, especially because Epstein's case never even went to trial. For the most part, the Epstein case appeared to be a done deal. But last year, the Miami Herald started investigating the Epstein case and interviewing victims, publishing stories of their accounts.
We were underage. We were little girls.
He wanted new, fresh, young faces every single day.
He's probably the most prolific pedophile. I mean, to have abused this many young girls for this many years and have gotten away with it.
The Herald's reporting re-energized public interest in the case, including the interest of prosecutors in New York. Adding broader political intrigue to this case, Alex Acosta, who is now President Trump's Secretary of Labor, was then the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida who approved this original plea agreement.
Mr. President, do you have any concerns about the Labor Secretary's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case?
I really don't know too much about it. I know he's done a great job as Labor Secretary, and that seems like a long time ago.
Epstein certainly ran in influential circles. Even then private citizen Donald Trump praised Epstein back in the day. So what's next? Epstein is facing very serious federal charges, 2 counts with a mandatory minimum of 10 years on each count. This is the kind of thing that makes associates of Epstein very nervous, because if the government is interested, they may approach Epstein for a cooperation agreement. Given that Epstein's friends were almost exclusively the rich and influential, the folks that he could talk to the government about might make him an appealing cooperating witness. Generally speaking, federal trials move relatively quickly, but this case may be over even sooner if Epstein tries to secure a cooperation agreement with the prosecutors. The real question is, who can Epstein give up to get that prosecution agreement? This new federal case may bring closure to some of Epstein's victims who complain that they weren't even told about this non-prosecution agreement in 2007.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.